Hey everybody, welcome back to Susan Lynn Psychic Medium. It's good to be with you today. Listen, this video is called America is Going Through Some Things because my guides have been saying that all morning. America is going through some things, you know. And the reason I do these videos, honestly, is to give you a heads up, is to give you some information that you might find helpful, or maybe it will help you make better sense of what we're experiencing here in this seriously dystopian world that we're living in. And I apologize if you hear my dogs, but it's trash pickup day, and they must protect the property at all cost. So here's the thing, guys. America is going through some things. I'm not going to go really heavy into the news because when I'm connected to them, Susan's brain, my rational thinking brain has to kind of move to the side so that I can have a clear connection to them. So I literally have to look up anything I want to tell you about that's newsy before I do these videos, because once I connect in, they don't care. I wanted to bring, because this is the thing that kind of kicked it off, is that the Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that the forest fires were started by lasers used by Jewish people. Jewish lasers started the forest fires. I mean, okay, like, look, really? I mean, really? And this woman is in Congress. This woman is getting airtime. This woman is getting TV time. Okay, this is a big thing. America is going through some things, okay? They want to also say that this just didn't start with her. It didn't start with Boebert. It didn't start with Holly. It didn't start with QAnon. It didn't start with any of those things, okay? It started many years ago. But most recently, we can point to the fact that some of these same people I just mentioned actually do not believe that the school shootings that happened in Parkland and other places happened. They think it was a ruse. They think the whole thing was made up, and they've actually attacked parents. I'm not kidding you, have actually attacked parents of these children and told them that it was fake. And as a human being, as a parent, as a sentient, freaking living organism, human being with a heart, how you can go through that, how as a parent that has lost a child you can go through that, I don't know. So why are we allowing that, right? Why? This is my question to the guides every day, is why? What WTF is going on? Is this a trick? I mean, am I going to wake up and this is a really bad nightmare or something? So they started telling me America's going through some things, right? So it's like, that's helpful. But here's what they want to talk about. Okay. And it does address this. Okay. I'm not going to tell you that I have a quick fix. I'm not going to tell you you're going to wake up tomorrow and these crazy people are going to be gone and it's going to be a bad dream. I can't tell you that, because the truth of the matter is they are here, put in our path, put in our society for us to deal with, for us to learn from, for us to confront not only them, but our own perceived notions and things. What do we think justice is? What do we think laws are? Where do you draw the line? Where do you enforce a law? Where do you, how often do you have to become in your civil society? How often do you have to become in the election process? We're all being asked, are we not? Didn't all those millions of people that voted in the Georgia Senate runoff, didn't they all step up because they realized, holy F, this United States is on fire. We need to all be together. We all need to get a bucket of water and carry it to the voting booth, so to speak, and put the fire out, right? That's where we are. So I want to talk about a few things, though, specifically. I got to tell you, I run this scenario every day. It's also like when I kept asking like when Trump was going to die, and they kept saying, why are you asking us that all the time? Because I want to know, because it's freaking important. I digress. Anyway, so I've been asking them about Trump and the conviction. the impeachment, version 2, of course it passed in the House, and now we're going up on the Senate. The Senate's going to meet February 9th to begin the process. And Trump is lawyered up, and how we do things apparently in Congress is we take everybody's temperature. We take votes to see if there's will. Are there people that will vote for this conviction? What is the temperature of the will of the Congress? And the temperature it's been cold. It's been tepid. And when I asked my guides, and then I already did this in another video that you can see, they said, no, he's not going to get convicted, which makes me sad. I think I need therapy. But anyway, another digression. So here's the thing. I think that readers and psychics and all of us, this thing is discernment. It's very hard when you have two energies that are right next to each other, around each other. It's very hard to pick them apart. It's very hard to say, oh, this goes with this energy, this goes with this energy. So what is happening right now is the Letitia James and the hopefully the Georgia, state investigators will start with a flurry of prosecution, a flurry of I can't think of the name because I'm connected to them and they don't have names for all these things, and they have to kind of go through my Rolodex, which is dusty and misfiled. Things are misfiled up there. But anyway, prosecution, let's just go with that. Trump is going to face charges. Very clear, very simple. That's the truth. It's going to happen. His family's going to face charges, okay? So what's happening is, even though I'm trying to think of a word that I can say on YouTube. Let me just say spineless. How about that? Spineless Congress people that will not indict Donald Trump, even though they will not do it for all kind of various reasons. Trump is still going to get indicted. Okay, that's what I have to tell you. That's the good news. That's the good news. They also wanted me to name this video America, the good news and the bad news, which I might do. I don't know. Who knows? But they wanted to talk about good news, bad news. Good news, yes, Trump is going to get indicted. He's going to face charges. And then at the same time, now that I'm on Trump, let me just run through this really quickly for you. Right now, he's in West Palm Beach, Florida. He is trying to start his own party. He's even more importantly, and actually I think at the same time, because I feel like these two things are very parallel, they're almost connected, is the party and the media empire, right? Because the whole thing, what does he want? Power, money, power, money. So guess what? Starting your own party gives you power and money. The media gives you the connection to reach out to those people and get their money. So these two things are happening at once. So what they told me yesterday was that he's having some problems around the FCC, which I think is the Federal Broadcasting. I don't even know what that is. Anyway, the FCC is, from what my guides tell me, is the American organization that controls, broadcasting, in all forms. So he's having problems with that. Okay. So he's trying to get around it. And oh, there goes my dog. That's Dasher. Again, like I said, he's on full alert because the trash can people here. So he's guarding the door now, in case they actually get in the house. Anyway, this is important because the man is not going to stop. Okay. He's not going to stop. I did a video where I said that he would basically backseat drive Biden, or, what they say, Sunday morning quarterback, basically pot shot, heckle, whatever. And he doesn't have Twitter. They deplatformed him. He doesn't have Twitter, but he does have other options. Now, the main thing is Fox. Will Fox be able to? They just told me they would. Fox, it appears, according to my guides and according to the energy that's happening right now, we all have free will. Fox could do this and then get slapped by the FCC. I don't know, but right now I understand that that Trump is trying to get on Fox News. He's trying to get interviews. He's trying to even just make phone calls, like remember how he'd call in to certain stations and talk as president. He would just call the TV show and be able to have a bully pulpit, right? So I understand it that Fox, I see. Fox doesn't want to lose the money. Fox doesn't want to lose the magic. Again, like I said, push button, get money. They don't want to lose that because Trump is looking at starting that other OANN or whatever it is. It sounds like something else, but he's trying to start that organization. So here's what they're showing me Trump is doing. And it's funny because he's actually trying to work with Mexico, like Univision, to use their broadcasting system. You wouldn't know, being an American watching TV, that anything had anything to do with any other country. Okay, it's just like Parler. Right now, if you were to go to Parler, the server that runs Parler is in Russia. But you don't know that. You have no way of knowing that. Okay, the experience is the same. Underneath the hood is different. Okay, so that's what Trump is looking at. He's looking at starting a media empire that would be, sorry, they just gave me another thing, that would be connected to a different country. And he really can't, Russia's kind of off bounds right now. Trump is trying not to do anything more than he's already done to get unwanted federal attention. And it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for him to get blocked broadcasting within the United States if he was using some kind of Russian connection. I can truly think that they may go after him in some way. I don't know how, but this is what they're telling me. Okay, so if he uses Univision, he uses Mexico, it's just like a very friendly, you know what I mean? That's not a dictator country. It's close to us. It appeases a lot of questions. Okay, so that's what I see Trump doing. I see him trying to create this new entertainment, quote unquote. And I guess that just came out of my mouth. I guess they're trying to make it entertainment, quote unquote, so that it doesn't, again, trip any kind of wire that would say this is anti-presidential or against, the president, against the United States, whatever, things like that he's already done. So he's trying to tiptoe around those words, treason and, sedition and all of that. But while I was telling you that, the guides dropped in Vegas. So I'm talking to you about Mexico and the guides just say Las Vegas, like, squirrel, I don't know, whatever. So I guess he's looking at something in Las Vegas, and I don't know what that is. It's not, I just crack myself up. He's not going to be on stage. He's not going to be doing a can routine. He's not going to be a rocket. So those are all out of the question right now. But again, this guy is a money-making stealth, like missile, it just focuses on money. And what they just told me was, of course, this is for entertainment purposes only. Are you listening, YouTube? Entertainment purposes only, just like Fox News. So what they just told me was, again, there's plenty of evidence, but the guides told me that Russia has backed Trump. Russia, the mob, he gets mob money. He's a front for money laundering. His hotels don't make enough money on their own to really, the money just comes through from another source. Okay. So what they told me was with the economy going downhill, there's properties in Vegas that are going to be sold, transferred. I see. So not sold because they don't want it to be public, but it would be public if you looked for it. If you knew where to look, you could find the transaction, right? But just not for the average American to know about. Some of these properties will be changing hands to a different conglomerate group, i.e. Reed mob. And then Trump could then start a new thing in Vegas, like a Trump Tower casino in Vegas. That is crazy. Now, Will that happen? I can't guarantee it. There's a lot of moving parts here. This is the energy that suggests it's almost like a river. If you look at a river and you see a leaf and it's stuck on a rock, that's the energy. The leaf is stuck on a rock. If a big rain happens upstream and the water picks up, the leaf might get moved off the rock and go down the stream, okay? All I'm looking at is what's the energy right now. I can't see. Everybody has free will. So if a prosecutor comes down with some kind of hard thing on Trump, he might abandon the Vegas thing, right? Or somebody starts investigating, or it might knock that leaf off the rock, so to speak, okay? But that's the energy right now. It seems pretty prominent. It seems big. It feels big in my body. It feels very expansive. It feels, it doesn't feel light. It feels big. It feels strong. So probably he is definitely looking at that. So now I want to circle back around to Trump not being convicted, but being charged. Okay. Yes, he's planning to live his life like a free man. But the truth of the matter is he has real serious charges coming down on him. And I want to say this is really important to circle all the way back around to the beginning of this interview, what am I doing? A video. I feel like I'm interviewing the guides actually. So anyway, how we get out of this, because this is what I want to know. I think this is what we all want to know. Okay, fine. Whatever Trump is doing, more Trump, whatever. But, we got big problems here in America. We've got congressmen and women that are saying things that are literally would maybe cause you to want to get them a mental checkup, that maybe they need to have some kind of mental screening because maybe they're not exactly operating, as healthily as they should in their mental landscape, right? And if they're going to represent us, then we need to know that, right? We need to be aware of that. So if you're going to say crazy things, then we have a right as citizens to request that, in my opinion. So where we're going now, because we can't trust Congress to do what's right. We can't trust Congress to convict Trump. We can't trust Congress to censure their own people that are talking crazy. Where we are going now is we have to go. Well, first of all, the Democrats and Biden, he just has to go it on its own. He does. He will do budget reconciliation. He will get bills through. We will get bills through. We will address things. We will vaccinate people like no tomorrow. I've said it before. We've got that single shot vaccine coming in this summer, and we will vaccinate people just in mass, big, huge masses of people. Now, it's not going to cut it out 100%. COVID is not going to be cut out 100%, but it will be to a degree that's manageable, kind of a low-grade fever, right? That I think we can manage. We can limp along. We can get our economy sort of gently working again. I need to talk about that too, but we are going to limp along. But let's talk about Congress and what are we going to do with our political landscape? What I see happening is we have to go to the rule of law. So we have to go back to basics. We have to go back to this congressperson. Either you have to sue them civilly or you have to charge them with crimes, some sort of crime. That is the only way we're going to go through this. The Republicans are not going to police themselves. No one is policing themselves. So we have to do what we have to do. And that means you will see as we go forward, Biden is no dummy. Harris is no dummy. They will collect the information they need from the CIA, the FBI, and local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, and they will press charges. They're simply giving Republicans time to get their collective together. And if they don't do it, then Biden will do it. Biden will do it. Listen, I thought Schumer was a pushover too, wasn't happy. But look, he has already not conceded to the whole filibuster thing. He stood up to them. Nancy Pelosi is standing up to them. Democrats now see more than ever the true landscape, the true reality. Nancy Pelosi said, we have the enemy and the enemy is in our house. That's what she said, I think yesterday. The enemy is in our house. Okay, so she knows, she's privy to the intellectual, the Secret Service, the reports. She's privy. She knows what's going on. So we're going to have to go after these people with law enforcement. So that's how we're going to get through this. That's how we're going to get out of this. Now, I want to talk just really briefly about the economy. I did a video about how the economy was going to kind of crater. A lot of readers thought the economy was going to crater by today, but I want to describe to you what's happening in the economy, okay? Because I think it'll help you understand the situation, okay? Basically, what they're showing me is, visually, is if you see a tree standing in the forest and it looks strong and it looks like a big tree and it's tall and it's big and, you know, it looks like a very healthy, stable, strong tree. But what's happening is the core of the tree is rotting. It's rotting from the inside out. So the outside does not indicate at all what's really happening on the inside. And why I mean this is the guides keep talking to me all the time. Almost every day they tell me this message in a slightly different way. And they say, okay, so right now, with the economy, what's happening is, you know, the restaurants are going out of business, you know, or they're scaling down. People that work at the restaurants are out of business. They have kind of off and on unemployment checks that kind of sort of keep them going. But right now, the things that have been impacted the most in our economy have been service-oriented jobs, low-paying jobs, service-oriented jobs. Many of those jobs are filled by minorities. So this seems to be where a lot of the rot on the inside of the economy is, okay, if you want to talk about it in those terms. So I think that we have decided as a community, as Americans, that most people that pay mortgages work at corporations, and the corporations have let them work from home. And so basically, you know, America's just chugging right along, right? I mean, it's, for the most part, I see people buying homes. I see people, you know, spending money. So everything is good, right? Here's the other problems. The problem is those people. Now, I'm not an economist. I swear to you, I don't understand anything about what they're telling me except for that it's bad. So they're telling me the people who have the pizza parlor, they are not paying their rent, and then they go out of business, and then the person who owns the building starts defaulting on their mortgage, and then they're out, and then the person who owns the building, their resources are strapped, right? Because they don't have rent coming in, and maybe they have a building a loan, and then so you can kind of see how it sort of builds. It kind of builds and builds and builds. So even though it starts with a person delivering pizzas, it actually ricochets all the way up to somebody that owns maybe, you know, 5 buildings or 5 strip centers in your town. Now that person that owns 5 strip centers in your town is now thinking about bankruptcy. Now we start to really impact all that person's accountants, all that person's attorneys, all that person's, you know, what do they buy? You know, they have a pool, they have a mortgage, you know, so you can kind of see how it starts out with a pizza delivery person and it ends up with somebody who is in a very high tax bracket that's an investor, and they're starting to feel the pain. So you can see how it starts from the inside out. And I think that's a good analogy for how I believe, and I think a lot of Democrats believe, that trickle up is the way it should be and not trickle down. So everything starts with this person on the bottom of the food chain, and that person goes out. Well, guess what? It's not just them, y'all. It's going to come for you too. If you are, you know, one of those people, you could very well find yourself in a really tough spot, even though you have a lot of money. Because if you're leveraged, if you have a lot of debt, and right now debt is easy to, you know, you can get low interest rates. So you could be that could be a problem. So you can see how this becomes how it starts building, and then it becomes a bigger problem for our economy. And they had some other examples too. I mean, I mean, they're just showing me this thing where that same investor, right, that has the strip center with the pizza place in it, right, that same guy or woman, they also own a professional building that has, you know, all kinds of tenants in it. And one of the tenants is a doctor, and another tenant is, you know, a insurance agent or something like that. Well, he's got to raise the rents on those people because those people are still making money right now. Okay, because the restaurants, all the buildings he have restaurants out, they're out. He's got empty buildings that are sucking his, you know, his money out of his account. So he raises the money on them, right? And then they start struggling, you know? So you can see this is a bigger thing. I know it's under the water. I know you can't see it. I know that. I just want to tell you that it's they just keep showing me, and they almost wanted me to build a, I swear to God, this is how they talk to me. They're like, take your tarot cards and build a deck, build a card, a house of cards, you know, and then show them the video of how flimsy a house of cards is when one card on the bottom gets kicked out and the whole house up here goes down because you kicked out the one on the bottom. The person on the bottom very well may be someone who delivers pizza for a living. So that's why the economy is at risk right now. That is why, even though it looks like it's fine, things could really kind of get out of control. Now, if we are able to, you know, we passed a couple of these bills, right, to PPP bills to pay employees and pay businesses. But I'm going to tell you right now, I know many businesses that took those loans and basically paid their rent with it, did not pay for the employees because they can't do everything. Right? So they just paid their rent with it. And I know, listen, I know what you're telling me because I know people that did this. Part of the deal was you had to keep your employees, right? You had to keep your employees for 6 months or 8 months. And then some of the airlines kept their employees for that time and then gone. So the money didn't really boost us or help us like it was intended to do. And then we know people like Tom Brady who got these loans for we don't even know why, for $1 million, right? So we have to be more targeted, more surgically targeted at the people who really needs the money. And that is the pizza delivery guy or girl or the people on the front lines, because those people really are the canary in the coal mine. If you know that analogy where they would send canaries in coal mines to see if it was safe, if you could breathe oxygen in there. That's the canary in the coal mine thing. So that's where we are. So I don't know. I have no idea if this makes any sense. It's 30 minutes. I cannot even believe it. But the good news, let me tell you, just wrap this up with some good news. The good news is I see tons of vaccines coming. I see most of us being vaccinated. I don't see the virus going away, but I do see us becoming about as close to normal as we could possibly get towards the end of the summer and the fall. I see us going back to school. I see football games, basketball games, volleyball games. I think that we will have to create some sort of thing where some communities may continue to wear masks in some situations. Some may not. It's not going to be pretty. I'd like to say that there's a line and there's no more COVID, but that's not the case. The case is that, again, it's kind of patchwork. It's a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit over there. It's a low-grade fever. It's not going to go away, but it's mostly going to go away. Okay, it's going to go away to the degree that I feel like we can handle it going forward. And then I think that law and order is what's needed. We need law and order to go after these people, be they congressmen or citizens. I don't care who you are. If you break laws, if you say things that could get you in some trouble civilly, then we're just going to need to prosecute. We have to be the ones to do it. We cannot sit back anymore and play Mrs. and Mr. Nice Person. We need to get a handle on this. It's getting out of control. This dystopian misinformation, it's just getting out of control. We can't, this is really threatening our democracy. So I do believe that's going to happen. We are going to pull out the law and order book on some of these people, and we're going to have to really take a strong hand, a really, really, really firm hand, which is going to probably scare some people on the left. And that's what I've seen, and I've talked about it before too, but it is what it is. This is where we are. We need to be fair, but we also need to prosecute. So that's where we are right now, guys. Hopefully this was helpful. I have no idea if it was, but I really hope it was. This is why I do these videos. I'm trying to help you have some clarity and make sense of what's going on in our crazy world right now. And the clarity and the sense that I offer you comes from my guides. It doesn't come from me personally, because if Susan was doing this video right now, she'd be walking around the room and cussing a lot. So that wouldn't be very helpful. And she'd probably say some things that got her in trouble. So that wouldn't be helpful either. So hopefully it was helpful. Thank you for joining me. If you enjoy these videos, please subscribe. Trying to build a community here. Have more videos coming on psychic awareness and mediumship stories, things like that. So hopefully you'll find some of these things helpful. I wishing you guys all love and light. Everything is going to be okay. We just have to stand up and fight for what's right. And we will do that because we're Americans and we're resilient. Take care, everybody.